Welcome to the PLO Mastermind. Fernando here, aka JNandis87, and I want to congratulate you for joining the PLO Mastermind and starting your 10-week transformation. The road ahead of you is equally exciting as well as challenging. In the next 10 weeks, I'm going to share with you my most powerful insights about professional poker and Pot Limit Omaha strategy. This course is designed to give you step-by-step guidance and support about the most relevant skills to acquire when it comes to building long-term sustainable poker success. I'm going to share with you my most essential strategies and concepts for PLO cash games. But we're also going to build up a powerful mindset that allows you to play your A game every single time. In this first week, I'm going to share with you a bird's eye view of the next 10 weeks and give you a high-level perspective and what you can achieve with the skills that you will acquire in this course. We're going to figure out together what your expectations and goals are and form a plan and place accountability to make sure that you really do the work and achieve your goals. In this video, I'm going to share with you the main purpose of this course, why it exists and how it will help you. We're going to talk about what a PLO mastermind is and how you can become one. Afterwards, we're going to cover general housekeeping rules, how to navigate through this course, how to get help and support, and what you should do when you are stuck. In number 3, I'm going to cover very important mindset topics that you should know about before heading into this course. And then we will cover expectations and talk a little bit about my own story, how I came up in poker, and what the experiences of other mastermind members in their career. Lastly, I'll introduce you to the 10-week schedule ahead of you and give you an action plan that you can follow up right after this video. Here we have a simple diagram of the transformation that is ahead of you. Everyone will have a different starting point based on experience and background, but your destination is all the same. On the left-hand side, we have your current situation, and on the right-hand side, we have your desired situation. In between, you can see that the time that it takes to get to your desired situation is dependent on distance and speed. And we're going to uncover what your desired situation is later today, but for now it's important to realize that there is a gap between your current situation and the desired situation. This gap is the cause of most people's frustration in really any field in life, whether it is the gap between their ideal health situation and their current situation, being overweight, out of shape, or sick, or someone's desire to be in a happy relationship when they are currently single or in a bad relationship. Wherever this gap exists, it causes pain, frustration, and also creates desires. Our goal is to close the gap between where you are in poker right now and where you would like to be. For that to be the case, we have to become crystal clear on where you are right now and what the desired situation looks like. This course functions as a framework for you to realize what that desired situation looks like. And once identified, we're going to equip you with the right tools to achieve the desired situation. What is also independently different is the distance ahead of you and the speed you're traveling with. First, we're going to cover the distance. The bigger your goal is or the gap, the longer the distance is going to be. But it is important to have big goals, dreams, and visions, because they are the main driver for accomplishment. But equally as important is it to have small steps and milestones in between. They are going to guide you on a day-by-day basis. Imagine you have a map. You have point A and point B. Point A is your starting point and point B is your destination. Without a path, this map is completely useless. And that's how most people treat their goals. They have a vague idea of who they would rather like to be than who they currently are. There is a gap, there is pain and frustration, but they are wondering because there is no clear path. Sometimes we experience short-term success, but in the end fall short and go back to status quo. And that's a very painful life of living. I'm going to try to show you how you can plan ahead and how you can follow a structure that enables you to really unleash your potential within this industry. It's easy to overestimate what can be done in a day and underestimate what can be done in a year. This quote is very true. We are naturally seeking instant gratification, which leads us to look for solutions that instantly provide feedback and results. But getting instant results is unrealistic. Trying to close the gap in your poker career overnight is like going to the gym for a week and expecting to lose 20 kilos and remain healthy and fit for the rest of your life. It just doesn't work. What's required are regular workouts, a better diet, and a good sleep schedule. And that is every day for the rest of your life. That's the reality if you want to be healthy. And it's the same in poker. But if you start changing your lifestyle and optimize for what is really important to you in your life, over time these small adjustments start to compound. And 6 months to a year later, you are in a completely different spot in your life. So never underestimate how much can be accomplished by just focusing each and every day on getting 1% better. Which brings us to the next point. Most people underestimate how much work and time goes into success. It is of crucial importance that you choose your life goals wisely, because if you actually want to be successful at achieving them, the pursuit might take up most of your life, at least for a certain period of your time in that life, or for a certain period of your life in this specific window where you're trying to achieve this specific goal. Especially that's true with something that is as consuming and intense as playing poker for profit or for a living. Success equals sacrifice. If you add something to your life, you will have to subtract something else, potentially many things at once. Choosing what not to do is at least as important as choosing what to do. And saying no is a very powerful word. The number one denominator we all have in common is time, and it's the most precious resource. You have to choose wisely what to do with it because it is limited. And therefore, you have to get rid of certain things that are right now taking up time in order to free up some space and put that time then towards your new goals within poker. We're going to work on that within the next 10 weeks. Most people overestimate their skills, intelligence, and talents. And that leads generally to putting in less hours when working, being less focused while you are working, blaming other circumstances or other people when things go wrong. It is important to understand that most people think pretty highly of themselves or very optimistically. And I'm a positive person myself, but it is even more important to be realistic, especially when you think about the effect. If you are very optimistic about the future and very optimistic about your capabilities and your place in the future, you tend to take it easy. And that's cool sometimes, dependent on what your goals are. But in poker, it doesn't work. It requires a lot of work. It requires a lot of focus and dedication and passion. So it is generally better if you assume that you are not that good, that you're not that smart, not that talented, and you have to work in order to get to this point. That is going to lead to more work, more focus, more seriousness, and at the end of the day, more success. So to summarize it, it is important to have big goals, but use a map with a pathway and milestones in between. Change your lifestyle to optimize for long-term sustainable progress instead of short-term gratification. And be willing to make big sacrifices in the pursuit of your goals. Remain humble and assume you have to work twice as hard as anyone else to make the same progress. And if you keep these things in mind, you will make sure that the distance remains realistic to travel. A lot of people never close the gap because their attitude and preparation creates a distance that is unmanageable to overcome. The second denominator is speed, that is holding you back or defines how long it's going to take you to close the gap between your current situation and your desired situation. Most important is to realize that the speed you travel with is within your control. How fast you move, how fast you learn and implement, and at the end of the day have success, is based on the hours that you put in, and it's based on the speed that you travel with when you are putting in these hours. So the first denominator here is the hours, as I mentioned. It's really important that you recognize that you will have to put in a lot of hours into poker, into playing poker, understanding poker, learning poker, asking questions, being interested, being curious, If you don't have a natural knack for poker, if you are not passionate about the strategical element of this game, it's going to be painful to putting in all these hours. I put in thousands of hours into my poker career, but I enjoyed it. But if I didn't, I wouldn't be able to do it. And if I didn't put in the hours, I wouldn't be able to have success. So make sure to understand this is going to take up a lot of hours. But if you are passionate about poker, it's going to be fun, at least most of the time. Now you should realize that instead of running through this course, this 10-week course, in a week, you will have far greater success if you spend a smaller amount of time each day working towards your desired situation. That is because of sleep. Sleep has proven to be one of the most important elements in having a good memory. If you get a good night of sleep, after watching only one video carefully and taking notes and going through the exercises, you will have far stronger long-term takeaways and benefits. So make an effort to put in the hours every day. It's not a rush, it's more of a marathon. You want to be consistent and you want to be smart, which means you are putting in the hours, but you're putting in the hours with a certain patience behind it every single day for a little bit, so that you can sleep over it and start integrating the knowledge into your game. Awareness and clarity is of crucial importance when it comes to the speed that you're traveling with. Most time and cognitive ability is lost when we don't know what we want and therefore don't know what we should do next. Creating a step-by-step process is of the utmost importance to avoid wasting time. Now, the 10-week program is a step-by-step progress, but within the 10 weeks, you have exercises that are going to make it easier for you to schedule your day and have a better understanding of what tasks need to be done in order to hit the big target. Focus is the thinking skill that allows people to begin a task without procrastination and then maintain their attention and effort until the task is complete. Focus helps people pay attention in the midst of distractions and setbacks and to sustain the effort and energy needed to reach a goal. Your ability to train your mind to focus on only one task at a time until its completion is of crucial importance, and therefore we will train throughout the next 10 weeks how to become more alert and more focused. Dedication and passion is a key component of any successful person in any field. If you don't truly enjoy playing poker, thinking through hands, learning new strategies, to a degree of a mild obsession, then this might not be the right path for you. You have to have true desire to play and think and improve your poker game on basically a daily basis. If that is the case, you will have long-term success. Self-discipline is the ability to control yourself and to make yourself work hard or behave in a particular way without needing anyone else to tell you what to do. This is similar to the iceberg principle or the Pareto principle. 90% of your effort will never be recognized. You will have to work when no one sees it and no one cares about it. And the inverse is true in our modern social media driven society today. People pretend they are doing the work to get recognized, to get likes by people who pretend they give a shit. This is a vicious cycle. Self-discipline comes from self-respect and integrity towards yourself. You should first and foremost learn how to respect yourself and stop observing others and stop lying to yourself about who you are and who you are not. And we're going to work on this in the next 10 weeks and make you a more self-discipline driven person. Optimization relates to optimizing every aspect of your life, especially optimizing your body and mind to work in the most efficient and effective manner. Sleep, diet, exercise, meditation, optimizing your work environment, tilt prevention protocols, etc. will be all part of the 10-week curriculum. And then lastly, emotional control, which refers to the skill to control your emotions when making a decision. Most of our decisions, as we are humans, are driven by emotion. And that makes us very reactive. But that's absolutely deadly when making poker decisions. We have to be logical at all times. And we're going to learn how to take control of our minds in the most important decisions of our day. over the day without playing a session, making decisions when we are completely fatigued. So summing it up, there's a current situation and a desired situation. The gap in between causes pain, and we're going to eliminate the gap by reaching the desired situation over time. The distance and speed determines how long it will take us to reach our desired situation, and we have a great deal of control over distance and speed. To change your life, you have to change your priorities. This is probably the most important message of this entire video. I'm going to read it out again. To change your life, you need to change your priorities. Where you are right now is a result of your priorities. Whether you are consciously aware or not, but all your decisions that you make are based on it. Priorities serve as a guiding star to keep you on course. What's truly important to us can sometimes become less clear in a reactive world where being busy is more often praised than being effective. As part of this course, we will set your priorities straight to make day-by-day decisions easier and make them more effective to your life goals. But for now, realize that doing more is not necessarily better. The only thing that matters is doing the right thing in the right way for the right reasons. And we'll become crystal clear throughout this process for the next 10 weeks on what the right thing is and how to do it the right way and how you actually do it for the right reasons. So at this point, I would like to go into what a mastermind actually is and how it's functioning as the purpose of this course. We're trying to make you a PLO mastermind. And in order to adopt the skill set of a PLO mastermind, you need to work on 2 layers. And we're going to teach those layers. The first one is the mastermind mentality. A mentality is a specific way of thinking that you want to adopt to reach your ultimate success within your poker career. The first mentality is patience and persistence. It is actually the number 1 mentality to adopt. Patience is the most important tool to overcome frustration. Say it again, patience is the most important tool to overcome frustration. During your poker career, you will have to withstand monetary swings and setbacks like in no other skill-based profession. Downswings can be brutal and make you feel hopeless and lose confidence. If you don't develop a strong sense of persistence, grit, and patience during these challenging times, you will fail. And we will work on the mentality of patience and persistence a lot because it is that important. If you give up, you lose. Number 2, responsibility and hard work. You are responsible for your success and for your mistakes. Take full responsibility. Blaming others for the situation is completely counterproductive. Only if you claim 100% responsibility on your mistakes and shortcomings, you are in control of fixing them. Otherwise, you're giving up control. Hard work is required, so don't waste energy on things outside of your control. We're going to work on accountability in the next 10 weeks. But what's important to understand is that if you place the responsibility in someone else's hands, you lose control over changing the current situation. So it's better to point towards yourself so you can actually change something. Mentality number 3 is never stop learning. Continuous improvement never ends. The moment you think you are good enough, you lose. PLO is an endlessly deep, ever-changing game, and there's always more to learn, more to explore, and more to exploit. And lastly, humility. If you think you know everything, you will also lose. Stay humble, keep learning, listen, and help others on your way up. The easiest way to tell that you are not bringing the required humility to the table for the next 10 weeks is if you are skipping parts. If you're not following the pathway that is given that we worked on hundreds of hours in order to create. So don't jump any steps and be focused on the process ahead of you. If you go through this course with this mentality in mind and you keep working on adopting this mentality, you will succeed. Let's talk about the mastermind elements now. These elements will provide us with guidance over what areas we need to focus on to close the gap and become a full stack complete poker player. The first and most important one is strategy. What belongs to strategy are pre-flop and post-flop strategies in PLO, such as 3-betting, c-betting, working with solvers, understanding equities, going to hold and manage your databases, understanding bluff catching, and so on. The majority of the next 10 weeks will be focused on strategy, obviously because poker is a strategy game, but strategy alone will not get you the desired long-term results. Tactics include topics such as bankroll management, study-to-play ratios, time management, poker site selections, understanding rake effects, and much more. Thirdly, we're also going to cover the mental game. Here we're going to work on tilt prevention protocols, pre-session warm-ups, and how to deal with downswings. And lastly, we have optimization, which refers to optimizing sleep, nutrition, exercise, recovery, meditation, your work environment, etc. We will return to these 4 elements repetitively every week. Throughout the weeks, you're going to learn to improve in all of these areas through exercises and in-depth videos about specific topics. You can download the mastermind elements and mentality after this video. Returning back to the transformation ahead of you. The goal of this course is to reach your desired situation of becoming a PLO mastermind by adopting a mastermind mentality, learning all essential aspects of the mastermind elements, and optimizing for distance and speed. Now let's get into the general housekeeping rules that are very important to understand when it comes to the process that you're going to go through in the next 10 weeks. First, this course is designed to be finished in 10 weeks. Work as hard as possible to achieve it in that time frame. Now, based on your specific situation, you might take a little bit longer, and that's okay, but try to create stretch goals, which means if you are not uncomfortable going through this course in a specific pace, then you're most likely taking it a little bit too easy, and it's not going to have a long-lasting effect on the way you're navigating within poker. So make sure to really push yourself in the next 10 weeks in order to achieve something that very few people will, which is a consistent change in the way you're approaching the game and the things you know about the game in a short time frame, just 10 weeks. Number 2, make the best out of the roadmap, the videos, the live stream, and the Discord channel. We put these resources specifically in place because we think they are the absolute best, and you should not skip any of the resources out there. We're going to break it down to the most essential items, and we gained a lot of experience in the last couple of years in understanding what gets people to the goal line and what is not as essential or necessary. So make sure to really trust our process and go through every exercise, watch every video that we have put in line. Third, we have designed an action-based study plan for you. Follow the steps without leaving anything behind. Skipping is just a demonstration of your ego problem, and it's going to increase the chances significantly that you're going to fail. Fourth, Q&A calls happen twice a week, Wednesday and Saturday at 9 p.m. CEST or 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Attend the live streams and post questions in advance. Live streams typically run for 60 minutes and are usually ran by myself. So twice a week, you will have the chance to post your hand histories and questions about the tactics, the mental game, optimization, and bigger strategical concepts in the Discord channel in advance of time so I can pick them up and answer directly. And you can form a dialogue with me on the stream. Take advantage of that. You won't find that kind of support anywhere else. And lastly, 50% of your improvement will come from watching the videos and 50% from taking action, participating in the community, doing the recommended action items, attending the live streams. If you're going to go into this course with the wrong mentality and you're just going to watch the videos and hope something magically changes, it will not work. You will have to take action. And we're going to make taking action as easy as possible, but it's still up on you. I cannot force you to take action. How do you get help and support? This is very important because this is not a course you're just going to go through by yourself. There are many other players that are going through the exact same process as you as well, and they have similar questions, similar problems and challenges to overcome. At the same time, you have an entire team in Jay Nanda's Poker that is going to help you to overcome these obstacles as well, and you do want to take advantage of that. First, most information is required is in the videos, in the quizzes, in the exercises, and in the video notes. So make sure to really go to the delivered material with focus and make sure that your question that you have wasn't already answered either in the comments or within the video itself. If you have a question, then feel free to post a question on Discord. We have different channels. They're all Mastermind exclusive and they have different topics, whether you have the hand checkup or whether you have a question about a specific situation, a site you want to play on, MTTs, whatever the topic might be, put it into the Discord channel in the right section so that it can be picked up on by ourselves or by other members. Number 3, if you have a strategy question specifically that you want to get answered by myself, then post your question in advance of the live stream, which happens twice a week, on our Discord channel in the channel Live-Training. Attend the live stream and get support directly through myself. Use the Discord Mastermind channels to connect to other members and get feedback on hands, strategies, and concepts. You're going to learn a lot more if you are connecting with other players, if you're bouncing ideas, if you're forming a dialogue. If you post a hand and you attach to the hand your thoughts about why you played it the way you played it, or why you think it is the correct way or isn't correct way, you start forming a dialogue. Other people start to understand how you think. They will challenge you. You will challenge them. And that back and forth process is what's going to develop you more than anything else as a poker player. So make sure to take advantage of a community that is focused on the same goal as yourself. This is not a road you just want to travel by yourself. Again, 50% of the improvement that you're going to have in the next 10 weeks comes from interacting with other people. Fourth, if you have a tactical question, especially how to find good deals on different poker sites, we have a black card reward system. The black card reward system essentially is a system where we affiliate with other poker sites, also PPP poker rooms that are quite exclusive and soft, and attach your account to it so that you can actually earn not only good rakeback, but you can also get free access to the mastermind and other products that we develop in the future. So if you're looking for a specific poker site, or if you're looking for a better poker site, dependent on your location, we will find different sites that will fit. And then you can attach those to our affiliate system, to the Black Card Club, and then you can start earning points and rewards and rakeback. So make sure to hit up Tom and just figure out if there might be a good deal out there for you. And lastly, if you have a technical question, like for example, billing or something functionally doesn't work, then don't hesitate and email us at support@jaynandaspoker.com. Next up, let's talk about the failure uniform, how to make sure that you will fail. So there are certain traits that are going to be toxic for your success. And if you surrounded yourself so far with other poker players, mainly people who aren't long-term successful, you will recognize these kind of traits. Let's go through them. Number 1, you feel like you know everything. Not going to work. Number 2, you're using interaction as a replacement for success and your own results. You do want to form a dialogue, but you always want to be focused on the big picture, putting in the hours at the table, putting in the hours away from the table in order to become better. Third, asking too many questions about the smallest details instead of caring about the big picture. Fourth, not asking for help and feedback during the first weeks. That is probably one of the biggest signs that you're going to struggle. Fifth, not participating in the live streams. Same here. Next, skipping steps and playing the victim, blaming everyone else but yourself. Remember, you're going to be tempted to do everything except the work. Like watching the videos is only part of doing the work, right? You do still have to play, and it's going to be fun, obviously. You do have to review your hands. You do have to take up the exercises and just follow the path blindly, essentially, and you will come out on top. Don't look for excuses. Don't look for the easy way. Don't be tempted to check out Twitch or TV or whatever. Just focus on what is ahead of you. And that is going to have you have the highest chances of succeeding. Few more things to remember before we're going to head right into this. Number 1, nothing is a failure. Some things you will try won't work. Some concepts won't stick immediately or will be misapplied. Look at mistakes as feedback that will help you to understand further what will work. But as long as you stay focused on the process and keep at it, you will come out on top. If you are connecting a lot of emotions to mistakes, you're going to travel much slower than if you are looking at it much more from a logical perspective. What doesn't work is just feedback. There's no emotion behind it. It just doesn't mean this is another piece of information, but it lets you know that this doesn't work, so you have to change course. And sometimes you will do too little within the 10 weeks or too much, or you make a mistake. And just look at these mistakes and missteps as feedback. Sometimes you will play too long at the poker table or make a big mistake because you were tilted. It happens. It happens to the best of us. Don't judge yourself too hard for it afterwards and just realize, all right, that was a mistake. And I think I have an idea on how to change that or how to improve that, how to avoid making these kind of mistakes in the future. Or I'm going to go ahead and get help to get some further feedback on it. Don't try to be too upset or too judgmental of your mistakes, because on your way up, we will all make mistakes. And the difference in terms of the people that will succeed at the end is how you react to mistakes / feedbacks. If you react in a productive way, you're going to progress. If you react in a deconstructive way, you're going to regress. Second, trust the process. It's totally normal to try to skip steps and look for shortcuts. You are already on the fast lane. Leave your ego aside and take every step ahead of you. Next up, this is work. Making money playing poker is hard work. It can be fun at times, but if you seek short-term enjoyment over long-term success, you will fail. Most of us got familiar with poker by discovering it as a hobby, right? As a passion. And it still is. Even for myself, it is still a passion. But that's not the primary driver, right? So what you have to realize is that you are playing poker and it is fun, but you're also playing it because you are looking towards a better life and a better lifestyle, a lifestyle where you can integrate poker as something that is truly benefiting you from all angles, financially, in terms of freedom, in terms of fun, in terms of passion. And I can tell you from my own experience, we're going to talk about my own story about it as well, like doing something for a living that you truly enjoy and are passionate about is an incredible feeling. And I want you guys to feel that, or at least to place poker in a spot in your life where you truly benefit from it. And in order to get there, you have to put in the work. And lastly, you're trying to do something exceptional. You will learn more in 10 weeks about PLO and success in poker than most players in a lifetime. Expect it to be challenging. So at this point, you might be asking yourself, like, is this going to work? What exactly is ahead of me? Why does it work? And what can I expect in terms of my short-term and long-term results? At this point, I want to talk a little bit about my own story and my background. I started playing poker in 2006. And from 2006 to 2008, I made most of the money or some of the money in order to familiarize myself with the game more as a dealer. As you can see here, this is me dealing in a poker club because I was completely obsessed with poker and I just want to get closer to the game and start making money within the industry. So part of my job was to educate other dealers as I became better at it, and also dealing the cards and just understanding more about the game, understanding more about tells and about tilt and about reading people and about understanding the strategy behind poker in general. And that was me in 2008 here sitting at this table. So over 10 years ago. So throwback to 2008. First of all, I was playing on a short roll, low stakes, no limit hold'em, mainly online. And later towards 2010, I started playing PLO. My problem was I wasn't fully committed to prioritize my poker career. I really enjoyed playing poker. I was really obsessed with it to a point where I didn't even care that much if I have to deal the cards or play the game myself. I just wanted to be close to the game at any point. But I wasn't professional about it. I didn't really believe in my capability of becoming a professional player as well. And I was young. I was prioritizing other things at the same time that were in conflict with becoming a professional poker player. I built up short-term bankrolls that I lost overnight sometimes or spend in real life. So sometimes I would just cash out my winnings and then spend it on stupid stuff, or I would just become bored at my normal stake and start shot taking higher stakes and just lose it. And it's all because of the same reason, because I didn't really have a bigger vision and enough confidence that I could actually turn this into a big thing. I just didn't believe it. I didn't thought about it. If I did, I would have stopped having this destructive mentality, which is to short take or cash out and spend it, or to have these destructive life habits on top. That is all a result of me not truly believing in my capabilities as a poker player. I had a bad life balance because I was juggling too many balls. I was studying at university in my economics major, at the same time playing poker like throughout the night, and I was just trying to like succeed at both things at the same time, and that's really hard. It's really hard. In fact, it's probably impossible in many areas, especially in something that takes a lot of dedication like poker, a lot of focus, and you have to play your A game and not be tired and so on. And deciding between studying and playing poker full time, like that was the biggest struggle for me. I had no coach, no path, I had no role model, and no one that would really tell me, this is a good idea, let's do it, right? Like my parents wouldn't tell me, hey, poker sounds amazing, let's quit studies and start playing poker full time. There was no one there that would encourage me or help me. But at some point, I decided to play poker full time. And this was my turning point in 2011, to be specific, January of 2011. I quit my studies at business school. I burned the bridges and I said, all right, I'm going to quit. I'm not going to go back, and I'm going to become a full-time poker player. I moved into an apartment that was for students. I actually lived there before, and I was basically saying I was still studying in order to save some money. And I had $15,000 to my name, which isn't a lot in Switzerland. I started playing 50 cents a dollar online PLO cash games, and I invested, first of all, $2,500 off my 15K roll into a PLO book called PLO Theory in Practice by Tom Chambers. You can look it up. That's the actual price. It was written, I think, in 2010 or 2009. So I don't think it's still up to date, obviously, because it is almost 10 years old. But back in the days, pre-solver stage, it was the book to go to, for high stakes players, for 25, 50 players. I was playing 50 cents a dollar, but I was committed to make that investment and learn the game. I bought 10 hours of mental game coaching with Jared Tendler, which is a mental game coach. He wrote The Mental Game of Poker 1 and 2 for $2,500. So I was, at the end, sitting on 10K on 100 binds at 50 cents a dollar. And I built a bankroll and never looked back. And I'm going to talk a little bit about like why that was possible, At the end of the day, what I talked with Jared about in these mental game coaching hours was not me just going on monkey tail all the times. It was me believing in a vision about who I could be. It was me growing up and professionalizing myself away from the table. It was me fully committing to my potential within poker and stop looking left and right. That was why I was able to succeed. Now, since 2011, I made a profit every single year playing PLO cash games and tournaments. My profits would range from $150,000 to around $400,000 per year playing poker exclusively. Afterwards, I started also selling coaching. I started creating programs and so on, and increased my bottom line. But just from playing poker in itself, I was pretty much reaching the 400K mark. I traveled the world for poker and pleasure. I visited pretty much all the major poker stops that you would like to go to. I traveled the EPT circuit for cash games. That was multiple times in Vegas. I was in Asia on a 7-week trip and so on. And just like enjoying my life. And the reason I'm telling this here is because these possibilities here are not incredibly difficult. Like if you are persistent and if you have patience and if you are committed, like they are possible. It's not like I'm some incredible human being that was able to do something no one can do. In fact, I know a lot of players that have done something very similar within poker. I designed a lifestyle based on my own terms and conditions. And that is probably the most important one to me because it demonstrates freedom for me. Being able to choose when to work and where to work and with whom to work is an incredible amount of freedom for me. And it's something of the most important things about poker and the poker career that I enjoy. Since my 20s, now I'm almost 32. In the last 10 years, I was able to work every single day on something I'm truly passionate about and work on it in the hours I wanted to work on it, with the people I wanted to work with, and I was able to choose the game I want to play and just experience that freedom that comes with poker success. And for some of you guys that are listening to this might sound like really far away, but it really isn't. It's just like in your mind. If you are switching to this other mode where you are putting all eggs in one basket and where you're truly believing in your potential and you're committing to something, like these things are possible. I was able to build also a big network of successful poker players around the globe. And that mainly happened because I started helping other people, right? I started coaching a lot of players, and through coaching other players, I formed relationships. And through forming relationships, you start having also more social interaction within your life. And that was just making the whole thing even better. So that's why I also encourage you guys so much to hop on Discord and start forming conversations and start building study groups and talk to each other, because it's much more fun if you have human interaction. I was able to pursue hobbies and have awesome experiences. I built up some skills and passions out of poker. I have multiple degrees in barista. I'm traveling a ton. I do pursue different types of sports. I was able to learn business and learn more about business and also about coaching. And I was able to launch my own business within poker, obviously Jay Nanda's Poker. Here are a couple of pictures from my past. On the left-hand side, we can see me in the Supernova Elite shirt. I was twice Supernova Elite on PokerStars, which was back in the day the best reward system ever. It would give you over $120,000 a year in rakeback, and that was before winnings. So it wasn't that difficult to make like $250 a year or so playing mid-stakes PLO. And I accomplished that twice. You can see my bracelet that I won in 2013, an online poker bracelet for $180,000. On the right-hand side, I'm playing at the Aria. This actually was a pretty fun game. We're playing 2550 PLO, and I bought in for $2,000, and then it turned into a 2550 100 game. And I stood up with a $31,000 profit. And it's not like every day is like that, but these kinds of experiences, they happen, and I'm not the only one. Obviously, it happens too, and it's just an amazing experience to travel to an exclusive place, a cool place like Las Vegas, sit down, play poker, the game that you love, and just have these experiences that are so surreal to a lot of players, or not a lot of players, but a lot of people in other industries. It's a really special industry, essentially. On the left-hand side, you can see me in Greece. I'm chilling here at this amazing all-inclusive hotel called Ecos. And I go here pretty much every year. And you can see I'm really passionate about just like figuring out this game. So my version of freedom is to like run The Sims and work on my game while I'm at the beach. That's my version of freedom. Like I don't have to do that. I can also just take a break. But sometimes I just feel it, and I want to stay close to the game while I am at the beach. And that kind of freedom really just demonstrates in a nutshell like what poker or the poker lifestyle is all about. On the right hand side, I'm challenging myself here through very, very cold waters. That was a great weekend where me and a couple of friends put a cool experiment together. We called it Hell Weekend. This year is at the Bellagio in Vegas. In a different year, that was my biggest winning session so far. In the Bellagio on the right-hand side, you can see my stack. We were playing 2550 100. I won $54,000 in this one session. And that was just a sick night. A very, very long session as well. And then here, more recent pictures. On the left-hand side, you can see me at the house with the two cats. And on the right-hand side, almost the entire team of Jay Nanda's Poker. And the reason I'm showing these pictures is because my version of experiencing freedom as a poker player is this, like having cats and being able to work at home, seeing my cats very often, seeing my girlfriend very often, designing my environment that I'm working in every single day, optimizing it for the preferences that I have, eating the food, drinking the coffee. As you can see on the left-hand side, I have multiple degrees in barista. And just having like these not only experiences, but also possibilities and options is all part of what I experience in poker. And I know many others as well. So I just want to show you these things as inspirations and ideas as well of what is possible along this path. And it's not like I have, saved up or like struggled for years in poker before I got to this point. I enjoyed every bit of it, from the student's apartment time where I had, worst food, obviously, and was living in a 1-bedroom apartment for $700 a month, which is very low in Switzerland. Then moving up and hustling myself up through the ranks and moving to better apartments and having a better lifestyle, having more options. Like, I enjoyed every moment of it, the bottom stuff, as well as just like moving up in stakes and becoming more successful. Not every moment was easy, but that's kind of like what makes life exciting, right? So the big question here is like, what happened in the last 10, 11 years with Mr. Fernando, aka Jay Nandes? And I gave you a glimpse at it, but at the end of the day, it's just like mastering these elements that I mentioned, and that's why I want to teach them, which is strategy, tactics, the mental game, and optimization. Like, I worked on all these elements for 10 years now in order to have sustainable success in poker, and also adopting this mentality that we talked about before, where you are persistent and patient and you have grit and you are humble at the same time. Like, those things are extremely important to get from A to B and also enjoy the ride along the way. And that's why I want to teach it, is because I have no guidance, or I had no guidance when I did that, but I can see how extremely beneficial it is. And I want to put together into a comprehensive, great 10-week experience for you guys to really grow as people, but also as poker players. Because without that growth part, I don't think it's really possible to have sustainable success in poker anymore. But at the same time, if you are able to optimize sleep and recovery and exercise, you understand diet, you understand the strategy in the game these days, it's a great mix of things that is going to enrich not only your poker experience, but also your life. And if I have an impact on you, then that's the type of impact I would like to have, an all-around impact for better life quality. So now I would like to go into what other members of the masterminds are saying, and what kind of experience they had, short or long term. So for that, we're going to head into the mastermind testimonial page. So here we are on the Jay Nandes Poker homepage. And if you go here below, you can see here what members are saying of the mastermind. I want to show you that because it is important to recognize that this is not just me accomplishing something and being a unicorn. Other people can do that absolutely as well. Again, if they are putting on the switch and they are start focusing on their potential. This is Arthur. He has been a mastermind member from day number 1. I'm not going to read out all these testimonials because it's going to take too much time, but just give you guys some hints. Here we can see some results from Arthur. And he says, even if I'm a professional poker player and poker student since more than a decade, this is the first time I really feel like I am one, thanks to the mastermind program and the Jay Nandes team. So he really talks about the fact that a lot of players, although they are able to make money playing poker, they don't really consider themselves as a professional because they are not having this all-around skill set that is placing poker in a spot in your life where it's just enriching the quality of your entire life. And I think that's what I'm trying to basically teach here. Here we have Darren. He also had incredible results in 2018. He's part of the mastermind since day number 1. And he says, I've been a member of the mastermind since about a year and a half. The mastermind is undoubtedly one of the highest quality PLO courses out there. I've been playing online poker for 7 years, and I've been on many training sites, but this is hands down the best. Again, you can check out the entire testimonials afterwards if you just head over to jaynandespoker.com and you go through these. And I think this is important because it gives you inspiration and ideas and hope that this is something that you can also accomplish. Here we have Einar. Beautiful graph here with the red line. It looks very cool. And let's have a look what he's saying. He says, I think it is very clear to any serious poker player that in order to succeed in the game, we are supposed to evolve as players and improve our knowledge consistently to avoid the danger of falling behind in a game that is constantly changing. He says, to me, Jay Nandes Poker was an obvious choice. Here, poker training is taking to a whole new level. And not only do they make sure that they have the best and most up-to-date material, it's also a great studying experience. And I think that studying experience is really important. Like, I want to create something where you have fun learning this stuff and it's not like a huge burden. Here we have Diego. Diego is actually from Italy, but he is traveling the world and he is playing live poker. You can read more about what he has experienced and enjoyed in this testimonial. And here we just have like a lot of different guys, that either won a tournament, for example, like low stakes title, a fake title with a deal. Well, yeah, we do have a tournament course within the mastermind that you should focus on after the 10-week transformation here. Not a tournament win, because tournaments are just a great opportunity to jump into once you have some basic skill sets down, because they are very, very soft, and it's definitely a great opportunity to jump into them essentially. I mean, I'm not going to read out like all these things here. You should definitely check them out for yourself. I don't want to waste too much time here, but it just gives you an idea of what you can expect and what is possible and what some of the experiences are from other mastermind members. And I think it's important that you read through those, because it is going to push you when it gets a little bit tougher, especially around the variance. Now let's talk about progress logs. We have started creating progress logs from day number 1 of the PLO Mastermind. And the reason for that is because accountability is a huge factor of why a lot of people are not succeeding. What we want you to do, and we're going to talk about it more in detail in week number 1, we want you to open a progress log where you introduce yourself and where you're also putting down your goals. It is very important that you understand where you are going and also have reflection on how things are going at any given point. And for that reason, we're going to open up progress logs. It helps you just become more reflective on what you have already accomplished, what you're challenging with, and what the next goal or milestone is ahead of you and where it's all leading. It also is going to help you to get into a dialogue with other mastermind members and get some feedback on the things that you're struggling with and the pathway ahead of you. So we're going to talk more about progress logs and the effect of it in another video of week number 1. Now, it might be intimidating to look at my results or look at the results of other mastermind members who already have reached significant success. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that you should be focused on 1% improvements daily, and their effect will compound over time. Patience and persistence are some of the most important mentalities you should bring to the table. And the understanding of 1% improvements is that the effect will take place over time. You're going to learn a specific skill, a specific strategy, a specific concept on any given day. Sometimes I might talk about why you want a pot in a 3-bet pot, for example. And that individual piece of the puzzle is not going to significantly change your win rate, but it's going to add 1% to your overall skill set and to the effect. And over time, these 1% improvements will compound, and you will see the biggest effects towards the end of the 10 weeks. So make sure to stick to it. And even though you might not be able to see the results immediately because you're going to improve slowly at individual pieces of the puzzle, at the end, it's going to all make sense and compound and have a dramatic effect on your long-term success. Now, lastly, let's talk about the 10-week roadmap ahead of you. What can you expect in the next 10 weeks to learn? In week number 1, which has already started with this video, we're going to talk more in depth about the mastermind elements. Again, those are strategy, tactics, mental game, and optimization. We're going to define a vision for you, a long-term vision, a vision that is even longer term than 10 weeks, goals and milestones in between. It is of crucial importance that you understand what you're actually trying to accomplish. Not everyone has the same goals in poker. Not everyone wants to potentially travel the world and play high stakes. I think what we should focus on is what kind of lifestyle are you trying to get out of playing poker? What is that desire and how can we make it possible? We're also going to talk about accountability, as we already talked about progress logs, how to integrate that and get it started. In week number 2, we're going to talk about the PLO fundamentals. So this is the first strategy lesson or lessons that we're going to tackle. Here we're going to talk more macro about what are some of the fundamental truths about the game, how do you wrap your head around it, and so on. We're also going to talk about some tactical topics such as bankroll management and study to play ratios. In week number 3, we're going to focus on pre-flop strategy, raise first in ranges, 3-bet ranges, and 4-bet ranges, and we're also going to work on tilt prevention. Week number 4, we're going to focus on some more pre-flop topics, cold calling pre-flop, in position, such as on the button or the cutoff, big blind defense, and we're also going to tackle time management. Week number 5, we're going to then head to the flop, single raise pot versus one player. This will be in fact flop, turn, and river, and we're going to talk about optimizations of sleep, nutrition, exercise, and recovery. In week number 6, we're going to talk about 3-bet pots versus one player and do some session planning. Week number 7, multi-way pots, and we're going to find some hacks for focus. Week number 8, single raise pots in position versus the preflop aggressor. And we're going to tackle also the topic of taking shots at higher stakes. Week number 9, we're going to talk about big blind versus the preflop aggressor. So how do you play post-flop out of position versus the aggressor? And how do you deal with downswings? So this is going to be a mental game topic as well. And then lastly, in week number 10, we're going to look into the last important spots of post-flop strategy, which are 3-bet pots versus the aggressor, 4-bet pots, and how to set up long-term success and motivation for your big vision. Now, here are a few important things to remember before going into the next 10 weeks. Number 1, very important, there's no magic pill here. The lessons taught in this course took me 10 years as a professional poker player to accumulate. I've squeezed it down to the most essentials in the best path possible, at least in my imagination. So make sure that what is happening here is you're trying to learn a whole bunch and integrate that successfully in a very short time frame. And that's exciting, but it's also going to be challenging. And if you think there's not a lot of work involved, then you are wrong. Make sure to understand that you are right now on the fast lane and you have a great opportunity in front of you, but you sometimes have to push through in order to really make it work. So don't expect this to just magically work. You will have to put in some hours, you have to put in some thoughts. It can obviously be fun. It will be fun. Like if you start picking up these new strategies and tactics and you start integrating them into your life, and suddenly you have better results, you have a better insight, you develop some momentum. This will all happen, but you have to put in the energy. Becoming a full stack poker player is no easy task. It will challenge your confidence and push you out of your comfort zone on a regular basis. Remember, you are not alone and what you experience is not unusual. Poker is a very weird game in the sense of there's no linear reward, right? Like you can do everything right and you still lose. That's what variance is. And some of you guys are going to jump on the 10-week transformation and you're going to have amazing results, disproportionately amazing results in the very beginning. And some of you guys won't. And a big part of that is variance. But here's the thing. The biggest sign for me that someone will be successful is that if you are still putting in the work, even though things aren't going that great at the tables, because this will inevitably happen. And it's the best situation for growth. If things aren't going great in any part of life, but specifically in poker, and you're able to push through, you're able to stay focused, you're able to stay confident and stick to the path, that is the biggest sign that you're going to make it in poker. Because again, downswings will happen inevitably. They are just part of the game. But always realize that there are downswings and there are also upswings. And these upswings will be amazing. You're going to win 10, 20, 30 stacks really fast. It happens all the time. And you shouldn't lose hope, and specifically shouldn't lose focus and grit during those bad times. If you do lose confidence, if you do lose motivation, reach out to the team. We're here to help you and get you back on track. Third, nobody became great at anything without a great deal of help from others. Exactly what I said just before. Learning actively, asking questions, and adopting a lifelong learning mentality is absolutely crucial. Take advantage of the years and years of experience that we have cumulatively in the mastermind, and also just myself. If you go through a rough time at the poker tables, reach out, because we experienced that before, and ask questions. How do I deal with downswings? We're going to learn more about that also in the 10-week transformation, but show up to the live Q&As and ask questions. Let us know how things are going so that we can actually help you to push through and get to that other end, to your desired situation. Next, embrace the community. Connect with others. It will make your journey more fun and successful. Respect others irrespective of where they are in their journey. So everyone is at a different point, will be at a different point at all points. But what is important is that dialogue and talking to other people is going to make you think much more critical about how you play. You're going to have to start formulating your thought process in detail in order to make it understandable to other people. And that process is going to really level you up much faster than anything else. It is much easier to understand something just for yourself, but in order to truly integrate it, you have to be able to explain to someone else. And that's what happens when you start forming a dialogue with other people. So do that, use Discord in order to find other people There are plenty of them right out there that are on the same path and start forming a dialogue. Challenge each other and each other's opinions, but always be respectful. And next, there are no excuses. This is hard. No joke. You and only you are responsible for your short-term actions and long-term results. Blaming anything else than yourself will slow you down on everyone else. Sometimes we'll feel like this isn't working. I'm not sure if this is the right path for me. I'm not sure if I'm learning fast enough or the right things. Have trust in the process. I put in hundreds of hours to really think through what should follow each step and what is really important to get you to understand a certain concept or integrate a certain skill into your poker career that is absolutely crucially important for long-term success. Sometimes you won't see the big picture and sometimes you won't feel as motivated, but be able to just, push through and tell yourself, hey, look, I'm trying to achieve my long-term desired goal and I'm going to stick to this right now. And lastly, do the work. Every step ahead of you is carefully designed. Don't skip anything. Showing up is not enough. You have to do the exercises, you have to form the dialogue, and you have to integrate accountability, which we're going to also teach you about. Here is the action plan, what you should do right now after watching this video. Number 1, download and print out the sheets that are provided. Number 2, join the Discord group. There's a Discord link on the mastermind page in the members area. And send a message to Delaney #7873 with the email you signed up with so that he can add you to our private channels of the mastermind. This is crucially important because we are sharing live stream links and additional information, updates, and so on in this Discord channel. Attend the next live stream. They are on Wednesday and Saturday, 9 p.m. CST and 3 p.m. ET. And of course, follow the path of the 10-week program step by step. Now print the PLO mastermind and mentality elements, and we see each other in the next video. I am super excited, guys. Jay Nandes for the PLO mastermind, over and out.